Hello, traders. Welcome to this live webinar here with FXDD. My name is Chris from Elite Currency. Thank you for joining this live session where we take, of course, a look at the financial markets. Obviously, euro dollar, because of the European Central Bank decision, is moving up and down a lot. And the ECB decision to lower the interest rate or lower part of the rate in a way, and also more bond buying or quantitative easing, maybe better or easier said, from November, sent it lower, price bouncing back up quickly. We're going to discuss the euro side, the euro dollar, what to expect from FOMC next week, which is coming up on Wednesday. So that's going to be very volatile, a lot of fireworks, I think. And of course, at other currency pairs and financial instruments. So as always, though, before we take a look at what's going on right now in this live trading webinar, first we need to explain to you this risk disclaimer. It explains the fact that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for everyone. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. All right. Thank you for your attention on that. So yeah, a lot of fireworks going on. It is time to look at the charts and to discuss that with more visual clues. So let me share the screens or the screen. All right, here we go. So first of all, there was a bullish reaction to the news. Then there was a strong downside, and now a very strong upside. And this upside is looking like a V-Valley reversal. So like this, basically, V-Valley, as you can see in the left lower corner, my hand's indicating that. Strong up, strong down, or with the drawing tool, maybe better done like this. And I think that if we look at today's daily candle, it isn't closed yet. There's still a lot of hours left, at least 6, I believe. But if it does close something like that, well, that obviously would be a huge reversal kind of pin bar candlestick pattern, obviously, with such a wick and such a bullish close. Now, that's if it closes like that. That's a big if still. But obviously, for the moment, I think the bulls are in control. I wouldn't be surprised if it closes at the very least a doji. If it is anything like that, then I think some more upside is likely. For those that maybe saw my euro dollar, pound dollar video with FXDD, and if you haven't seen that yet, you can check out the FXDD YouTube channel, where then I do add all of these webinars and also our extra videos. That I did expect down and up back to 111.25, maybe 111.80, and then a downtrend continuation. For the moment, that could still happen if indeed the candle ends up like that. That's really a big question mark, because the whole ECB event is like a vacuum. It stands on its own. It's an event that has really his own kind of magic in a way for an hour or two, right? But if it does close like that, then ultimately that ABC pattern could indeed take place. It was a close call because of the very strong downside. And honestly, when it was falling that much, I started to become skeptical if that ABC pattern would indeed take place. But at this moment, the odds are again in its favor that could happen. Especially if today's daily candle is anything, if it closes, let's say, above this weekly pivot point at 110, I think that's a fair chance. Downside on this chart, it not only actually, it didn't even stop at the 78. That's how fast that momentum was for the downside. It didn't even stop at the 88. It really had to stop at the previous bottom, but it didn't break the previous bottom. That's important. So very strong downside, but also very strong upside. And I think that likely it kind of close like that. How to trade it? Difficult. Really, really, really difficult. To be honest, unless someone was interested in going against the momentum at that spot to trade at ABC, it was a difficult thing to catch, really. Maybe this 15-minute candle or this 15-minute candle, not easy to trade against that momentum. To be very honest with you, it is a difficult day to trade. 5-minute chart. Maybe this is a huge candle. I mean, theoretically possible, I guess, to trade that downside towards these fibs. Difficult trades. I think for the future, though, if there is some 50-minute flag tomorrow like this, the momentum is now up. It has basically almost erased the downside. So if I see a flag like that and today's daily candle closes above 110 and price then breaks that flag tomorrow or on Monday, I think that a little bit of a push up to that 111 wouldn't be too much of a stretch to to expect. Now that upside be that much. I don't expect a huge upside, even if today's daily candle is hugely bullish. If it closes like this with a big wick, and even if it closes right near the high, I don't expect that much upside either, because the trend is still down. And I think if it hits this -2.7 or minus 61.8 target, still the same story. That hasn't changed. I think that's still a resistance level or zone where price can move down and continue with the downtrend. And so price could move up before Wednesday's FOMC statement up into that zone. And if the Fed does decide on Wednesday to cut the rate from 2.25% to 2%, then that could create dollar. Actually, that would create dollar weakness. Sorry. So, but still, so if it doesn't do that, then actually it should fall. Excuse me, it's the other way around. Apologies. If it does cut the rate, I don't know. There could be maybe still a little. Maybe it hits the 272 target before the rate. After the rate, it hits the minus 61.8 target if it cuts the rate and then starts falling. Difficult to say exactly how these swings will fit until Wednesday. Also, maybe the market expects more. Maybe it expects 0.5%, and 0.25% is therefore a 0.25% cut is therefore not so much. You know, these are. That's why I stick to technicals. I'm not a big fan of fundamentals. There's a resistance zone, and I would expect to bounce if price gets up into that zone. All right, about it, I think, for the moment. I don't really have much to add. Tomorrow is Friday, so it'll be interesting to see how this week's weekly candle closes. If that is bullish as well, something like this, then that would indicate also one more reason why there could be some upside pressure into this resistance zone. We have a resistance zone up in here, as I already indicated. All right. Now, pound dollar looked bearish to me because of this break, but price also closed and reversed back up. I'm a little bit more bearish on the pound, although it depends a little bit on this 4-hour candle close. And if it is bullish like this, that would be a bullish engulfing twin. Then it would certainly not look bearish anymore. So it depends on this 4-hour candle. If there's a sell-off in this candle, then that would indicate more downside, I think, down to 122.25 for the moment, down to 122 to this weekly pivot point. If there's a selling pressure here, I think that continuation is likely. If there isn't, and this candle holds, then the break below 123 was a little bit of a false break. It hit the 23.6 fib in that case. If we put a fib from here to here, 23.6 fib bounce. In that case, it could be a different ball game. And this engulfing twin could see still price push for a higher high. I don't like the pound dollar upside because it really seems limited. Maybe on a 5 or 15-minute chart, some scalpers might be able to push to catch a small push up here. So if this holds, if there's a flag tonight and tomorrow there's a break, it could push up for maybe some 75 pips then. But need a flag, just like with the euro dollar, would need to see a flag here first of all. So that flag basically indicating that it's not a close and reverse back down again. Dollar yen has been pushing up nicely in this trend, well, triangle here, break, pullback, continue, flag, break, flag, break. This was a deeper correction, but ultimately 107.50 was a strong level where it bounced, quarter level, previous top as well. So pretty logical that it was a bouncing spot within this uptrend. Excuse me. The uptrend this week has lasted from 106.80 up to 108.10. That's 130 pips. It could push up a little bit higher to 108.40, 108.50 perhaps, but I think that would be a very, very strong resistance zone due to the previous tops in here. And that could likely be a reaction zone for, hang on, let's see, somewhere in here indeed, likely to be a bouncing spot for some type of bouncing spot. I'm not sure how many pips, could be only 20, could be only 30. The momentum is certainly up, so maybe the bounce is not too much. But I think it could be a profit taking at the 144 EMA at the previous resistances. So I think that last push up is possible, but then some type of retracement here likely. Again, I don't know how much. It could just be a small retracement actually within the trend. And if it does bounce, maybe price is then able to break above 109. If it does, that changes entire perspective, because a break above 109 or 1010 would indicate maybe a new uptrend. And that could indicate the end of this correction and maybe a strong uptrend. Now, that's still a big maybe. It would require a break above 109, maybe even 110. So still a long way from here. But if this is an uptrend, if this is a correction finished, a new uptrend, that could be huge. That's a big as in here. So the break could really be both ways, and therefore still got to be careful. If break above 110 would make that a little bit more likely that the uptrend here could be valid for this kind of break. Let's see. We'll keep you up to date on that, of course. For the moment, this bounce of 107.50 was good up to this 108.50. That could be a bouncing spot. And then I would expect this correction here. So if it's up, down, I would expect again 107.50 to be a bouncing spot, actually. Break up to 110, something like that. So up, down, and then up. Most likely path, if this is a wave 1, 2, and this is a wave 3 at least, which seems likely at the moment. Alrighty, pound yen does not have a lot of space. I think, running right into resistance here. Don't like this, but I mean, it was a good uptrend, don't get me wrong, but right now, not a good spot in my view. It could push up to that 133.78, 134 zone, don't get me wrong, but doesn't look that appealing for me to trade right now. I would probably like the dollar yen more at 108.50 for downside, or at 107.50 for upside. Euro yen, don't see much there. Let's just move to the pairs that I think are more clearly visible, so we kind of keep the pace in the webinar. New Zealand dollar is interesting. I think it is indeed bouncing, and yeah, basically was a head and shoulders here, inverted, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, broke through resistance, good breakout. This looked like a pullback for continuation. Unfortunately for us, that happened an hour ago before our webinar. This was something that I thought could be interesting from a discretionary point of view. Yes, Reza, sorry. For now, I think uptrend up to 108.50. That could be a bouncing spot, and then a continuation after maybe some retracement. Excuse me, retracement to 108 or 107.50. I do think that price will break, but it will probably not do that in the first attempt, though. I think most likely there's going to be a second or even a third attempt needed to push through that. So yeah, New Zealand, unfortunately a little bit late now with this New Zealand. It looked like a break, pullback, continue, but price is already continuing. I think that for the moment, still a pullback is likely. There was an ABC correction here, and it created divergence between these bottoms. I think for the moment, a flag, if there is a flag eventually, back into the 21 EMA and a continuation higher is all right. What else is going on? Let's get rid of those lines here. Hang on. Yes, pound New Zealand I wanted to talk about. Sorry, let's focus on what's interesting first. Pound New Zealand is interesting because it might be, just maybe, completing a triangle. Like that swing for wave A of that triangle. This could be wave B of that triangle. Let's see, downside for wave C, up for wave D, and this could be down for wave E. As you can see, B didn't break the top here, C didn't break the bottom, D didn't break the top, E didn't break the bottom. This triangle according to the rules so far. And there was a good bounce here at 191. So stop loss with a triangle like that should be below the wave C, because if price breaks below the wave C, then it's not a triangle anymore. So that's one way of trading it. Other could be the break of the triangle, which would mean a push through this trend line or the 21 EMA. And that could be happening soon at 192.50, maybe 192.75. So a 4-hour candle that could push, I think, could be very interesting for continuation higher. That would be the next step if indeed this triangle breaks. If it does push above resistance and push higher, then there's pretty good space if it does do that. Why? Because if I put a fib from, let's say, this bottom to this top, minus 272 target could be at 196.38. And if we look at resistance levels on the daily chart, then really there is not much to fear for the moment until that level. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it, I think, for the moment. So yeah, a lot of space above 193 and then above 9 up to that target. So it could be very interesting on this pound New Zealand. Let's see. Other than that, not a big fan of dollar CAD at this moment, to be honest. Just don't see much there. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know. It doesn't look that interesting. Dollar Swiss franc is in an uptrend and is in a good channel here. This could be a retracement. As long as it stays above the weekly pivot point, I think fair chance that this is just a pullback within the uptrend. Of course, it would be great if it could confirm a break above this resistance zone eventually. But yeah, that some space up to that round level of parity basically seems for the moment likely, as long as it stays above this kind of zone here. All right. Other than that, euro pound, I think, looks like it finished 5 waves down and could be making a bounce as an ABC back up. I'm not a big fan of the euro pound to trade it, but from an analytical point of view, I would say correction up likely at this moment. Euro odd and Euro New Zealand, we're in strong downtrends, still waiting for a little bit deeper correction. So I think that if it hits the 38, that would be a nice, pullback. Same for the Euro New Zealand as well. So waiting for a little bit more pullback there into the 38.50 fib zone. Then continuation lower, I would suspect. Pound odd. I tried to trade on this. It didn't. I was a little bit quick on the trade management for the downside because of this trend line and the fact that it could still be bouncing at a triangle. So it didn't give it as much space as I normally would. Didn't give it as much time to develop because of that trend pop up because of the the wedge basically. But if it breaks through, that could be okay for continuation lower. Of course, it's a little contradictory to the pound New Zealand that I expect could break to the upside. So let's see. Both could happen, or pound New Zealand could break up and pound odd could not break down, or pound odd breaks down and pound New Zealand doesn't break up. Both are in a triangle, so we have to see which direction it will break. But I can tell you this, that if pound New Zealand breaks up, if both break up, I like pound New Zealand more. If both break down, I like pound odd more for down. That I can tell you now. So let's see the direction of the breakout for the moment. Other than that, let's see. Australian dollar yen. Yeah, a little bit on the late side here. Unfortunately, our webinar should have been 1 hour earlier. It was also looking for continuation. Yen weakness was pretty good this trend this week. Australian dollar was one of the strongest this week, and odd yen this week has been moving up almost consistently. So this pullback, I also expected to see a follow through. That's happening right now. But keep in mind that tomorrow is Friday. It is a profit-taking day. It is a volatile day, and trends that lasted the whole week, are vulnerable to some type of retracement on that Friday. So although the odd yen is now making a high, I think I wouldn't trade it to the upside anymore after this because of Friday and the end of the week. There could be some correction. I would be rather careful. So nothing we can do about that. Bitcoin I expect triangle this month, and so far that's happening. Looks like a triangle indeed. I would say A, B, C probably. This is all part of D. Even if it moves up higher, I don't think that the wave D is finished yet. It will probably likely bounce at this top for one more leg down without breaking these bottoms. Probably we'll probably go sideways for another basically in September. All right, Dow Jones is not available somehow. Let me add that then. 1 second. Hang on, folks. We'll have it up and running very quickly. There we go. Yeah, made an upside after consolidation here. Oh, sorry about that. No. There we go. Yeah, so bouncing consolidation up. This was an ABC correction here. Sorry, let me do that again. ABC broke through the resistance, break, pullback, continuation, consolidation, break again, but now right at resistance. So not a good spot. It could break that. It's just right at the previous top. Don't like it that much at this moment. And I will have to look for gold again too. 1 second. That should be easy. There we go. Gold moving up after completing 5 waves down and basically hitting previous bottom here, the support zone. So not surprising, it's a bouncing spot, broke above resistance, and indeed made to move up to the weekly pivot point so far. I think that could still be a bouncing spot. I think it's likely that the uptrend will not continue. I think some type of correction here is more likely, and then an uptrend will continue. I am bullish, but I think that there's going to be some kind of consolidation first here before uptrend continues. So I'm in a waiting mode on this one. I think this upside is with the trend. I just think it's a corrective push with the trend and not yet full with the trend continuation as yet. If it does push up, specifically this level, like a head and shoulders level, some level to seriously be careful of here for a head and shoulders pattern as well. And there could be a little leg down. I don't think the uptrend is over, but I do think some bigger correction is likely on this gold. All right. Any questions or follow-ups? Anything you want to ask me about? Maybe your trades. I can give my opinion, analysis on particular currency pair or time frame. Let me know. Otherwise, I'm thinking quickly if I missed anything. But for the moment, I think gold basically more correction, Bitcoin more correction, Dow Jones is a strong uptrend, could push higher for a little bit higher high, but really the space is very marginal there. And then we'll have to see how price responds to that higher high. Your dollar, very curious about today's daily candle once again and weekly candle to see if there is a closing reverse like that. If it is, up to 111, 111.25, 111.80 is possible. Specifically, if there's bull flags on the 50-minute chart, that's also valid for the pound dollar. It could go up to 124.25. Dollar yen uptrend continuation to 108.50, but then a bounce down to 108 or 107.50 likely, and then an uptrend continuation, I guess. I think expected. And pound Zealand or pound odd, those triangle breakouts could be very interesting as well. New Zealand dollar, yes, flag. Waiting for the flag for follow through to the upside, first of all. I think that is it at this moment. I was pretty quick, I hope. So join us soon for more webinars. Of course, here you will find, hang on, folks, I'm going to share it with you where you can find those. Let's see, 1 second. There we go. So here are those links. to join live. And of course, you have the choice between live trading webinars, that's the top link, and live educational webinars with the bottom link. We hope that you join both, equally valid and valuable. Sorry. Next week, we're back, of course, Nanette and I. And once again, if you just want to check out the FXDD YouTube channel, that makes sense too, because all of these live webinars are uploaded there. Plus, we add also the video analysis that Nanette and I do on a weekly basis. Nanette mostly, I used to be on Monday. Nanette will do the Monday videos now. I will probably do Tuesday or Wednesday. And of course, as you might know, the live trading webinars, Nanette on Tuesday, I mostly on Thursday, and educational webinars are typically on Wednesday or Thursday. So that's typical schedule that you will see with us and FXDD. That's about it, I guess. No questions, so all clear, great stuff. Then I wish you all great trading, a great week and weekend, and see you all next week. And of course, let's see how all this Euro news is digested, and we can then prepare for FOMC decision next week. Wish you all good trading. Cheers. Bye-bye.